Welcome to another installment of Hymn Stories. In today's episode, we feature two hymns by the American composer David Hurd. Born in 1950, David Hurd has led an active career as a composer, concert organist, choral director, and educator. He lives in New York City, where for 28 years he was the professor of sacred music and director of the chapel music at General Theological Seminary. He currently serves as director of music at the famous Church of St. Mary the Virgin near Times Square. As a composer, David has created some of the finest and most beautiful hymn tunes of our time, as you'll hear shortly. Today's first hymn is number 104 in the hymnal 1982, "A Stable Lamp is Lighted." This text is by the poet Richard Wilbur, who was the second person to be named U.S. Poet Laureate. That was in 1987. And Richard Wilbur also twice won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. He wrote this particular text for a candlelight service in the Memorial Chapel of Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut, in December of 1958. And in the program that evening, the text was prefaced with this quotation from the Gospel of Luke. "I tell you that if these should hold their peace, the very stones would immediately cry out." The Wilbur family then used this poem in their personal Christmas card that year, and it began to appear in hymnals and circulate across North America in the succeeding decades, being matched with various tunes. As you'll hear, the unifying symbol throughout this text is the word stones, referring in the successive stanzas to the stable in which Christ was born, the stony road that he traveled on Palm Sunday, the stony coldness of heart of those who rejected Christ, and then finally, in the fourth verse, the whole earth rejoicing in the union of all creation and singing the praises of the child whose birth we celebrate at Christmas. David Hurd wrote this tune in 1983 specifically to be used with this text. And you'll remember now that hymn tunes typically have names, and the name of this tune is Anduhar. I always wondered why David called it that, and in researching this little talk, I found that he honored Lily Anduhar's Rogers, who was his choir director when he was a boy soprano at St. Gabriel's Church in Hollis, Long Island. I think that's a rather charming and beautiful way to honor a choir director. The tune has a very gentle rocking quality, rather like a lullaby, and the beautifully balanced phrases emphasize the song-like qualities of this very sensitive spiritual piece, which will now be sung by John McElliott.
A stable lamp is lighted, whose glow shall wake the sky. The stars shall bend their voices, and every stone shall cry. And every stone shall cry, and straw like coal shall shine. One shall harbor heaven, a star become a shrine. This child through David's city shall ride in triumph by. The palm shall strew its branches, and every stone shall cry, and every stone shall cry, though heavy down and down, and lie within the roadway to pave his kingdom come. Yet he shall be forsaken and yielded up to die. shall groan and darken, and every stone shall cry, and every stone shall cry for stony hearts of men. God's blood upon the speared, God's love refused again. But now as at the ending the law is lifted high, the stars shall bend their voices, and every stone shall cry, and every stone shall cry in praises of the child, by whose descent among us the world are reconciled.
Our second hymn today is number 268, Ye Who Claim the Faith of Jesus. The text is by Vincent Coles, and it first appeared in the English hymnal with its original first line, Ye Who Own the Faith of Jesus. It gives just a little insight into the many decisions, large and small, that must be tackled by an editorial committee, especially the editors of a hymnal. You can just imagine the discussions around the editorial table in making that one simple, single-word decision of changing own to claim. So we have it in this country as Ye Who Claim the Faith of Jesus. This text for the Feast of the Annunciation is included in an Episcopal hymnal for the first time at the request of many clergy and laity. I suspect people sang it and heard it in England, fell in love with it, and thought, we've got to have this hymnal, or we've got to have this hymn in an American hymnal. And here it is. The version included in the hymnal 1982 uses only 3 of the original 7 stanzas, with a new 4th stanza by F. Bland Tucker, based on the Magnificat, appropriately. The tune for this hymn is called Julian, and it was composed, again by David Hurd, in 1974, as what he describes as a generic tune, meaning it was not composed to be set to any particular text. And this rather useful portable quality enables this tune to be used also in the same hymnal as number 507, Praise the Spirit in Creation. And the tune takes on a very different character when paired with a more animated text like that. But personally, I think it's very beautiful for this text. You'll sense right away that this tune is written in David Hurd's most lyric style. There's a 4-bar accompanimental prelude and interlude that establishes the mood of the hymn and gives big hints as to the main features of the melody that's coming up. Then there's a beautiful soaring descant over the final stanza set to the words Magnificat anima mea Dominum, the Latin for my soul magnifies the Lord. We'll now have the pleasure of hearing Kristine Caswelch and Nicole Keller sing this beautiful hymn.
Ye who claim the faith of Jesus, sing no wonders that were done when the love of God the Father over sin the victory won, when He made the Virgin Mary mother of His only Son. Blessed were the chosen people, out of whom the of her name. Let the church in her foreshadowed part in her thanksgiving claim. What Christ's mother sang in gladness, let Christ's people sing the same. Magnify my soul, God greatness, in my Savior I rejoice. All the ages confessed, in His praise I lift my hands. He has cast down the mighties, and the lowly are His choice.
I hope you've enjoyed this brief snapshot into the wonderful hymn tunes composed by David Hurd. I look forward to sharing some more tunes with you in the next episode of Hymn Stories a few weeks from now. Take care in the meantime, and I'll see you then.